leave that up. The Pantheon has been basically 100% banned. The respect from the Syndra is big from there. And then also the Yasuo, like it's the lesser of 7 evils, right? Because of all the things you have to do.
Testing talk.
Too.
All right, I think I'm back,
Edgar?
guys.
Good stuff.
You're back. Welcome. All right, so Cassiopeia
What have I missed?
Elise comes in as well. You're seeing Kiana get first pick here for G2, and very interesting picks though. Cloud9 get a great early aggressive jungler for Blabber.
I also love every time the Xayah is available for Perks. This is one of his most comfortable champions for sure. The Zyracon power duo for these two players. And Perks plays Xayah and just marks him in a very different way. He puts so much resources onto him in the mid game, farming multiple lanes, farming all the jungle camps, that he almost always has a level lead. And that's something you have to watch out for every single time you play against G2.
And one thing that I feel like G2 is best at is pressing the go button at the right time, and they have given themselves so many tools to do so. The Kiana plus Zyracon, that can basically instantly delete pretty much any champion the C9 now has if they pull it off. So pretty devastating pick so far from G2.
So they can get counter-engaged though. Tristana, of course, good at laning in most matchups, right? Being ranged, of course, helps. The push, of course, helps. And if someone comes in, you can bust them right back out with maybe not enough tools to reclose the gaps. That'll be fun to watch for. Tristana tends to be a mid laner nowadays, but she can still be moved around because Cassiopeia tends to be a mid laner in general.
Yeah.
Can be moved bot.
Of course.
You can definitely see a Cassiopeia bot against Rakan as well. Pretty risky if you get engaged on, but the miasma could be used to his advantage.
Regardless of where those two champions do go, I am personally expecting to see Kiana flex into the jungle here for Jankos. Kiana can sometimes struggle in these early laning phases against the all-in power of a Tristana or a Cassiopeia, so those levels 1 through 3 can be very, very volatile. So I personally would like to see Jankos pick that up for himself and then get Caps a strong matchup that can be favored in the Cassiopeia or Tristana in the mid lane.
Veigar ban coming away. Pretty important one there, of course. Very good at stopping engages. G2 wanting to make sure that their engage can come through. Nautilus, no surprise into the Rakan matchup. That was almost always the expected support down there for Zeyzal as Zoe comes through. Almost certainly in the mid lane, but I've actually still seen bot lane Zoe played here before, and as the Vladimir comes in, of course, we're expecting Xayah Rakan down the bottom lane, but you never know for sure, regardless, Kiana and Vlad and Zoe, meaning it's the Kiana jungling.
I really like this composition coming through from G2, in particular the Zoe pick right now, because you see Cloud9 with the Cassiopeia and the Tristana, you have consistent DPS from range scaling into the late game. So now G2 with the Zoe can actually outrange that, have incredible poke to lead up into these fights, when then you have the wombo combo, all the damage of a Vladimir layering on top of a Kiana and this Xayah. So G2 have a lot of different options here in this match.
Also seeing the Aatrox coming through for Licorice. This is something that we saw impact play into Nagari's Vladimir. And even though the Vladimir farmed fairly well early, the Aatrox does have the self-healing and ability to build healing reduction later, so it can actually stand up to it in the side lanes. And we've got about 5 seconds to see whether or not Sneaky's going to be playing his second mage bot in 2 games.
The case here, last second to come through, and it is going to be Cassiopeia in the bottom lane. So Miasma to stop the grand entrance and even the shield backwards, of course, from Mickey X's Rakan. It works against 2 of the abilities there. Could be a lot of power.
Well, keep in mind, the miasma was changed to have a much smaller minimum cast distance. So it used to be that if Rakan would just get inside Cassiopeia's range, nothing Cassiopeia could really do about it. Now, if that goes down as Rakan is entering, you absolutely block the exit.
And you set up for Nautilus to put down all of his CC as well. So there's a ton of pick tools on the side of Cloud9, as well as those scaling DPS threats. This one is going to be a great one.
G2 versus Cloud9. Let's get in the game.
You know?
We're in Europe this year, Jet.
It's fitting. as well, as far as dueling fan chants, because they both have two-syllable names. I'd say that's about 80% G2.
No matter where you are, it'll always come out.
So
At least we have TSM at Worlds this year.
So the point I was going to make as we get into another NA-EU battle is, I think it was back in NA in 2016, people didn't know how to chant C9. They would try and do the same tempo as TSM, but it was a two-syllable team name, and they just get lost.
Cloud9.
Yeah, it was like C9, C9, and then they'd either run out of breath or have too long of pauses. So we settled on, let's go C9, which is what we just saw for G2, which allowed them to duel. So even though they did the TSM chants, the fact that these are both two-syllable names makes me happy. It's a healthy duel of chants.
That's nice. They're even one letter and one number. The symmetry is beautiful. But 9 is bigger than 2, but G2, meanwhile, taking their own red buff, getting the leash down there and heading into the bottom lane. There was nowhere to go with that one.
All right.
As Blabber gets his leashless blue buff on this side.
So looking at Blabber's pathing, I just always want to hone in on the new player on this roster and how it impacts this early game. We're seeing him start on the bottom side of the jungle, and what would not surprise me at all is to see him go for a 4-camp clear and then maybe look to make something happen around the top lane. Because you can clear all those bot side camps, pick up your red buff, and then potentially contest a 2v1 or a 2v2 around the Aatrox, because Aatrox is always going to bring a lot of power in these early skirmishes, especially against the likes of a Vladimir that, well, Wonder's doing his best Nuguri impression right now with the Klepto as well as the boot, so he's not going to have a ton of power in the 2v2.
Yeah, and I also want to address some of the potential reasons why we could be seeing Blabber, because it's quite a shocking move from the outside to see the North American MVP subbed out in their game against G2 as they have the level 2 early
Nice
on.
timing. Before level 2 came in for C9, so not good trades there.
So what I think C9 is going for is a sense of volatility in this matchup. Svenskeren was the best early game jungler in all of the LCS, as Jankos is thinking about going for Niski. Except Blabber actually had even better early games than Svenskeren did. Yet Blabber kind of fell apart between 15 and 20, and Jankos,
in,
it follows.
The root! A trade of flashes. Niski
Now top.
comes out now, looking at this play up there. That Sanguine cooled down. Blabber's going to find some red buff damage and walk out.
Now, it might not look like the 4-camp into top, but it was because he took away 2 of the small wolves in order to be able to hit level 3 off of just like 3.5 camps right there for Blabber. Unable to find anything, though. While mid lane was a trade, I can't help but feel like Niski is going to be fine with that because now he will have access to that rocket jump, and Jankos won't be able to close the gap on this Kiana.
You walk into the brush now. Looking at Jankos back and forth here again. Flashless now on the Kiana. Use that to make mid lane more volatile there.
Blabber can't stay here for too long. Actually, Wonder makes the call that the pressure in the top lane is more important than helping Jankos for Scuttlecrab. That's likely a team call where Jankos will say, don't worry about it or not, because he has plenty of camps to clear.
And the lane is sort of frozen in mid as Niski goes in.
That's a flash forced out, and now Drowsy onto the opponent, but you can easily just block this one on Blabber's side. Minions help as well, but Cap's now very low in this matchup.
I love how active Blabber has been in this game, not only with that early game top lane, but standing his ground inside of the river, knowing that even if a Vladimir roams down, it's not going to be able to match up if Licorice on his Aatrox come down as well. So with this strong level 3 jungler, Blabber has now taken control over both Scuttlecrabs, and by burning Flash on Caps' Zoe, it means that Niski can actually have kill threat in this lane by charging up that full bomb and going for a forward W.
I'm also looking at the gold already. G2's 1,000 gold up, 4 minutes and a half in just from laning. It's just little advantages across the board. 500 gold for Wonder. He's been just destroying this lane with his Kleptomancy, only having to burn the pool even after Blabber has gone for that. So the early lane phase for Licorice's Aatrox definitely tricky.
Oh, put him back in.
This
is decent damage. Wonder's running pretty low on HP. He could flash the wall. Does choose to. Does Licorice follow?
He can get him.
Is this enough? Empower kills him for Wonder, though he can get the heal. And now the bottom side sneaky goes down. Zazel can't land the anchor. It's traded to the top side, but that is still overall advantage G2.
Perks and Mickey are able to kill Sneaky in lane right there and find that kill, but at the same time, Licorice fires back after losing the CS in this laning phase. Going up against that Klepto Vlad, he shows that you do have that all in power.
Immediately, Sneaky is back with his teleport as well, though opting not to go for the combat summoner in this one, and the heal would have actually been the thing to save him. So even with the death in the top lane, G2 still with a 900 gold lead in the early laning phase.
Well, recall coming through for Perks, now having burned a lot of cooldowns to make that one through. We can watch that top side fight again, and we see Licorice getting to pull him in on the W.
Yeah, Wonder gets snapped by everything right there and dragged back in. Even if he uses the pool right there, it still will drag him back towards the center of the ability. And now he's just trying to buy time for Jankos, who was on the top side of the map, to run on over here. But Licorice lands absolutely everything, is even able to knock him down with that range on the passive.
Watching what happened in the bottom lane as well, kind of catching up since we were watching the beginning of the Aatrox play. Let's see how they end up pulling off this kill. It's just a straightforward engage on Mickey, but immediately on their power spike of the level, as soon as they both hit level 4, they know they'd win that all in. Extra stats and extra skill points.
Yeah, Sneaky was also pretty low on mana there too, so it was always going to be hard for him to turn and hold his ground, regardless though he couldn't fire off any spells because he was very far behind. Now one thing that is quite interesting from G2, look at that, 3 Fairy Charms to keep the mana topped off in lane, does sell for a large amount of that return. I think you only end up dropping about 40 gold off of that purchase, but will mean that they can apply more and more pressure in these lanes and fire out their skills.
I think you lose 54 gold total. It's the cost of an old mana potion, basically. 30% of the, I think it's 180 to buy one, or 45, something like that. Regardless, it is pretty cheap, and it's a lot of mana over the course of time. It's a good laning item, as wards are cleared down to the bottom side, and Sneaky at least has equaled the farm for the most part, but there's still plenty on the board for Perks to grab, and gonna feel good with that early BF sword picked up. Jankos waiting in the wings. It's gonna be 3-on-3. Is they gonna go for the engage right away? Don't knock up Sneaky just yet. It gets right back away.
That play maybe is different if Jankos is able to find the Water Blade. Woo. Clutch sleep right there from Caps. He is not able to take these all-in trades up against Niski. And even the poke battle up against him, because Tristana is going to be itemizing into the Blade of the Ruined King, you already see the Vampiric Scepter. It makes it very easy for Niski to stay topped off in lane and give pressure for Blabber.
Wants to take the advantage, though. He has the control ward and should be able to know the red buff is there, but...
Oh!
Nope.
Jankos grabs it, able to walk away. Level 5 for both.
I've just got to watch out.
Blabber plants a stun, but he's got Caps kind of nearby. Gets just away from the sleep, just walking for this one, but is there enough space to go? There is, just barely snaking away with his life.
The ward spotting Caps there, so clutch right there, because Blabber almost gets hit by the bubble, saw it coming though, and was able to escape. Still, I continue to praise Blabber for this aggression, because this is what I need to see out of him to make it pay off for C9. The only way we've ever seen teams reliably be able to beat G2 in the LEC was to attack them in the early game, to get an advantage over them. So Blabber's role here was to come in and blow the game wide open. He got a flash so far, and he is trying to play aggressive, but I need to see more, and need to see especially him get some kills onto the flashless members of the G2 lineup.
Now looking at the game state overall, it remains 1,000 gold difference, as the bottom lane has very much been Perks and Mickey centered here again, up 10 CS and that kill. They finally jump in. There's a little bit of grounding there, but Mickey able to walk away. The Guardian Shield helping as well, and just not a lot of harm down there. The other side, though, is what I'm more interested in, this top side. Licorice getting that solo kill early on, but Jankos could come around.
Yeah, he's level 6 as well. So here he comes, flashless Licorice. Blabber's pretty far away.
Does have ulti for move speed if he needs it. There's Hemo playing on top. There's the ult for the move speed. The flash in there. Go look at a big hit right there. A lot of damage.
Licorice!
Licorice is in a 1v2, and it's not enough people. Send a bigger army.
Wow, for Licorice.
Here we go.
That just like last time.
The storm over the top. The big root coming across, though. I don't know if they have the damage knocked on Sneaky. The feathers do come back, but it's one traded, and Mickey is on the wrong side of the map. He cannot walk away. The anchor's too big.
What are G2 doing right there? Jankos misses the ultimate into the top lane, then go way too ham underneath the tower, and now Wonder has the flash, has the pool, but he's in trouble.
See if he can walk away from this one. Of course, doesn't have many of these tools, and they don't pull aggro just yet. Now they can re-engage, but the pool is down. Gonna try for a little bit, but the jump right back up. The slam comes down. 3 kills for Licorice. Caps can't capitalize on this, and Licorice gonna look to walk away. Jumps over the wall. Jankos nearby, and he's gonna pull for it. He's asleep, and Niski sleeps with the fishes.
They want even more. This play keeps going. Caps wants to get Blabber.
Ignite, that's enough. Nice pickup there for Caps, and they're hungry for more. They force the flash of Licorice, but Jankos, oh, that could have been dangerous, but walks away, getting 2 kills back.
These are the games we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
9 kills in the first 9 minutes, only 300 gold. G2 had so much lane power in the early game, but Licorice comes in massive with the 2v1, and C9 repelled the second dive from G2's bottom lane to keep this game competitive.
C9 are basically able to win everywhere on that map. Blabber coming in as well to find that tower dive on towards Wonder. Maybe staying a little bit too long right there, as G2 were able to fire back themselves. Still ahead in gold, still maintaining control in that department. Can't help but feel that once Niski gets some items, potentially Try to run over.
Sneaky's running at hell, just barely gets away from the feathers. Good damage across, but it's not going to be enough. Sneaky just cannot make these trades happen. G2 still strong in the bottom lane. 30 CS lead for Perks.
Just dominating that 2v2 as Perks and Mickey did to most at MSI and throughout their time together. If they continue to aggress, though, as C9 is counting on it, C9 would be here.
I'm still nothing but impressed by Perks as a player. The thought of him role swapping to bot lane to make room for Caps in the lineup, and yet he's probably the strong point of the team. They're going to pull in Mickey, but he gets away in time. The miasma's not there.
Sneaky wasn't quite in range to cast the miasma and didn't want to throw a blank there, but that's a decent investment of time from C9, and it ends up giving them basically nothing.
Both junglers are
Another
still sticking
stick for
around
Caps.
right here, and there's going to be a fight in the bot side.
Well, not sure there's Elise to go, but she's going to find some damage back across. Does knock down Yankos, but a trade killer comes in. Sneaky's dead right away. The flash away. Perks knows to respect Licorice there.
And a whole other game being played in the jungle as
Wow.
Caps nearly took down
Caps
this
is still
game.
going.
He's got a couple flashes.
Trying to find him. Took the safe recall. That's smart of him to do.
And C9 is still going in here. Caps is full health in their jungle.
And Licorice is about to run out of his. He's trying to run backwards.
Look at
Just
Perks.
barely going to go down to the Feather Storm. But Perks, he's got backup. He's got shielding. Zazel's going to drop. And I'm not sure Blabber has the damage. Picks up one. But Caps has arrived. Puts the bubble down. Gets stunned, but there's still going to be enough damage here. And the G2 army knocks down 3.
It keeps looking like Cloud9 are winning these fights, but then against all odds, Perks and Mickey jump in for the 2 versus 3, win that fight, and the whole time, Wonder is just pushing up in that top lane, making back the gold that he lost after a couple rough trades against Licorice.
3 plates taken down to the top side. He's got to be rich right there. 103 CS, highest in the game.
I mean, before that play, Wonder was down 500 gold. Now he's up 200 just off of laning up there against nobody. Seeing this fight one more time, it is Yankos jumping on towards Blabber, but Yankos is so squishy right now. Barely gets his ultimate off before he goes down. And now it's 2v3. This is where everything is won from C9, but Perks did not use his ultimate in that engage.
Yeah, and Perks and Mickey, it's their time to take over this game after that fight because Perks ended up picking a double claw on the backside. Watching this as well, Blabber is tracking Yankos extremely well, but Perks and Caps are going to be a problem. I remember Perks saying, I don't know, it was Perks or Caps. One of them said, I knew if I teamed up with the other person, it was going to be nearly impossible to beat us. And in this game, they need each other because their top lane's 0-2, their jungler's 0-3, and it's them with the huge bags of gold, and they're the ones that need to carry.
And it's also C9 making some smart macro decisions right here because bot lane is getting absolutely hammered in that 2 versus 2, so they rotate up Sneaky towards that top side of the map. That allows them to pick up the Rift Herald, and then they can try to trade some plate gold. But it is Perks solo in that bottom lane, finding 3 turret plates for himself too. So as we mentioned before, Perks as a player loves just funnel so much money onto him. He has a 1,200 gold lead over anyone else in the game, and Wonder is number 2.
Yeah, coming into the day, Perks was 11.1 CS per minute, which is the highest of players at Worlds. He's going to keep that up as G2 continue to match C9's pace.
Takes a lot of damage. Oh, Yankos can't get over the wall. Takes a whole bunch of damage, and he's going to get slammed down. Some plates fall, but the bot lane turret already dropped. Now it's again Wonder, a bit against the world, looking around for his opening, gets knocked up yet again. There goes the Sanguine Pool. Caps across the wall now as well. The turret falls, the stopwatch buys some time, but there's still no way out for the Vladimir. Cloud9 do pick up 2 kills, but they again do lose that bottom turret.
This is reminiscent to me of the way C9 tried to play against RNG last year in the group stage. They are just going so fast. And even though G2 is the best at matching people, Yankos and Wonder have been killed 7 times in this early game.
And without getting a kill either, those two look absolutely flustered because in that situation, the top side of the map is the weak point for G2. They only had 2 players there underneath the tower, but as Yankos getting picked off one more time, as the rest of his team tries to come over towards him, they're unable to actually protect against that dive here. So G2 definitely need to be able to stop the bleeding on this top side of the map because if you look at it, I think scaling looks very good for them. Even though C9 do have some late game threats and range at their disposal, G2 have a lot of different options in the way they can approach this game in terms of pick, in terms of poke, in terms of team fight.
Cloud9 found a small opening though. Into the mid lane they go. They trigger the demolish. 2 more autos and they're going to knock that one down. So briefly, a turret lead for Cloud9 and it closes the gold gap to 1,600. Make no mistake, G2 still ahead in this one. And they've got a very fed Xayah, which means a lot.
And also watch for Caps bubbles as C9 try and contest this next Drake. One good bubble with how squished some people on C9 are could make all the difference. And then on the flip side, see if Zayzou can get a good initiation, because G2 is also a bunch of squishy players. The one that we do need to keep our eyes on the most, though, as you say, is Perks, the most gold on the team and the most potential damage.
C9 are just going to go ahead and give this one up, though, but
Drowsy.
Sneaky,
Well, gets a bit of this down, but the Ignite is still on him. I believe he has just enough health. Should not burn down all the way, just has enough right there. He's fine.
I thought the red was going to kill him.
That would have been hilarious.
he did lose the ultimate, though, and now G2 can siege mid lane. Big damage.
Chunk there. Blabber going to stay alive with this turret. Is losing a lot of HP, and there's still 3 turret shots left of that minion, so they're going to knock that one down.
Even though the bubble from Caps does not result into the kill on Sneaky, removing that mid lane tower from the game is going to be so pivotal here for G2. All of a sudden, much more easy for them to gain control inside of the enemy jungle. And whenever you have Zoe on your team, that's where you want to live, because you want to use the added range of those walls with your bubbles in order to catch the opponents by surprise. And all you have to do is deny vision inside of the river, and that leads to some very easy to execute picks.
And G2 is moving around the map so quickly and so well right now, getting that top turret. And this is where I have questions for Cloud9, because we know Blabber's amazing early game. His weakness and C9's weakness with Blabber instead of Sven Skaren was the mid game here. So how can C9 stop G2 from just running over them between 15 and 25 minutes?
So far they haven't found the opening yet. They're going to look for it, but right now this turret's down to about 1/4 HP. And again, the poke lands into the dive. This could be so great for G2. Across the wall they go. 2 kills picked up. 1 traded back, but it's a 3-for-1. Cloud9 cannot stand up to G2.
Have an answer about how C9 is going to do it. They're not. They're just going to get dove by G2 as 5-man strong, crush through them in the top lane.
How many teams, though, would actually look for that dive? 17 minutes into the game, it's a 5 versus 4. That's just a 1-player advantage, but they see Licorice in mid lane, and that's where so much of the gold for Cloud9 is. Niski and Sneaky just do not have the firepower up to compete against it, and you see the Hemo play go down onto multiple members at the start of the fight, then the flank from Jankos. Just that damage amplification from Vladimir is devastating.
And the instant the miasma expired, G2 went in.
Yep.
Sneaky has to be so careful with that cooldown, because if he uses it flippantly like he did there, just to clear the wave, that will happen. G2's willing to press the go button.
And G2 had to know exactly how much damage they did too, because their carries were split on the left side of the tower. If they did not instantly blow up those 3 primary targets from Cloud9, they're instantly split up, they're instantly left out to dry, and Cloud9, with the flanking Aatrox, could get so much back in that engage. G2 definitely play a very risky style of League of Legends, but when they're able to calculate the damage like that and just know how powerful they are at this moment in the game, that's when it feels almost impossible to compete with them.
I love risk-loving League of Legends. It's exciting, and if you can calculate that right, as you're mentioning there, it makes you one of the best teams in the world. G2 are absolutely that, looking to go 2-0 in the group stage so far. 4,000 gold lead. Looking very likely to take C9 down here. 11-11 in kills, but the farm difference, the turret difference, even the Drake lead. Yeah, it's G2 all the way.
I mean, it's almost a 4,000 gold lead for Perks over Sneaky right now. That is just absolutely disgusting between those two players.
Oh, there's so much done right there. He's going to run away, but the Ignite's
dead.
still on him. Wonder could very well burn down, and he does. That's at least something on the Cloud9 side. Sneaky will slink away with his health, but Caps could try to find this on the backside. If he can find that bubble, he's going to look for it. He's going to look over the wall, and he's going to knock down Sneaky. A second kill comes through as Blabber drops, making a 3rd kill. Perks does so much damage, chases in, finds the triple, and Licorice is alone. He's got no team left. G2 surrounds him, and they're going to push in for the damage. Look for the kill. The turret gives him a little bit of space, and he will clear the wave.
Perks is taking over this game, and G2 are not slowing down. Licorice tries to stay alive, but he gets slept. He's going down.
And there it is. The ace comes through. 2 kills for Caps, 3 for Perks. That's where all the kills go. Those carries doing so much work.
They are so on point this game. Caps and Perks together. Every time C9 expends themselves to kill Wonder or Jankos, Caps and Perks absolutely have their backs. They know what C9 used. They said, hey, it doesn't matter if we start this fight a man down. We have so much power in what is now a full 3-item Xayah 20 minutes into the game. Watch this again. Yes, Wonder is dead, but that doesn't stop G2. Caps keeps going for it. He takes Sneaky down at the start of this fight, and they say, hey, you know what? Sneaky can't participate. It's 4v4. And we don't have time for replays because everyone thought Wonder was going to get jumped on again.
And when you have a roster this stacked, sometimes it just must not matter, but Blabber's in so much trouble.
They're gonna find a double knockup at a Mickey, and the re-engage not so far great for Cloud9 side. They gotta run away, but there could be a re-engage. Caps goes in, doesn't find the damage.
Perks was still down on the bottom side of the map though, so G2 weren't ready to jump all the way forward. Perks with 3 items now, just 20 minutes into the game. Absolutely monstrous. He's going to go ahead and solo out the Mountain Drake too, and with 2 mountains with this super fed marksman as well. It seems inevitable that G2 can move over towards the Baron. Look at the gold. I mean, you compare him to Sneaky, that is 4,500 gold. That's like an Infinity Edge and then some.
I mean, I gotta point out the fact that Niski is behind
that's the
Mickey
thing.
in gold. This is a pick. They saw first pick Kiana and said, okay, maybe it's gonna be a good pick for us here on this Tristana against it. Zoe comes in later. And just in general, Niski's always been down in CS. He's gotten very little done for himself. And 131's a pretty appalling count there for him. I mean, there's a 1 in 4 Vladimir with way more than he's got, and there's just no damage out of that mid lane.
And in his defense, he was ganked very early on, and then the kills from Caps came from roaming around the rest of the map. So he didn't get that laning phase that he actually wanted. Here we go.
First stun's gonna land for a little bit there. The ult across the backside, but Mickey's staying alive. And this could be more of a re-engage stun through the wall. They're gonna look for Licorice here. Now this one, Perks could be found out! 1,000 gold to Licorice, but Zay's gonna get deleted. It's still a 2 for 1. It's Cloud9, still forced to run. Sneaky does not have a way out. He finds his stun, but he doesn't have the damage just yet. There's a double kill in for the Vladimir. It's 4, it's 5, it's an ace for G2.
G2 come up huge right there. Perks goes down, but it still does not matter. And now they're going to turn their eyes towards the Baron. All 5 members of Cloud9 have been felled. It's with double mountains, it's going down fast.
That felt like the final nail in the coffin for C9. They were desperately trying to get the fight after they take down Perks, which felt like hadn't happened, but they didn't get Caps, they didn't get Wonder, and all of G2's carries, plus their massive gold lead, were able to finish this fight. And the start, actually pretty good, right? They got a face-checked Rakan, unable to finish the deal on that. Niski loses vision when he rocket jumps in to try and last hit Mickey, and even if they caught Perks, look at Caps on the backside.
So much
him up.
damage. Yeah, and Sneaky can't retaliate because he's just getting outranged by Zoe at this point in the game. Misses the spells right there, but the zoning does enough. Now Wonder can do his duty, as Blabber does come in to try and assassinate on the backside, but there's still a stopwatch up for Caps. The odds are just so stacked against Cloud9. Even when the abilities landed, even when they did kill Perks, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, the most deaths by Sneaky in a game here, 6. He had max of 5 deaths in any summer split game. And look at that.
And Perks, he died at the start of the fight. He still did the most damage in the fight right there too with all the feathers. That is just absolutely ridiculous. Now the siege is where it becomes real scary for Cloud9 because with the Zoe, with Xayah's safety, Xayah can walk up and free hit those towers. Zoe can poke and land for bubbles. It becomes very hard to pull the trigger and find the pick, especially when the skill shots do not connect. Oh my!
Sneaky just almost deleted. Featherstorm comes in to keep Perks safe, but that's still a couple of forced recalls out, which means the mid is open, and the turret's going to fall. Inhibitor will follow as well.
G2 play without fear right there. Perks, we've seen this from him in the LEC, but he's level 14, the highest level in the game, going underneath towers, going deep towards the Nexus. Blabber is going to get down very low, and here go G2, the final push.
So Plague might just kill it by himself, barely stays alive, looking for a re-engage now. Can C9 do anything to stop their base from falling? 24 minutes in. Baron buff on the squad. G2 do not know how to slow down into this one. And here they go, on to turret number 1. 5v5 to close the game right now. Sneaky out of hell, 2 for 0, 3 already picked up, making a 4th. There is no chance at all. Cloud9 are deleted. G2 with 2 stompy wins so far in the group stage. And one of the tournament favorites takes care of business.
And before the tournament, we were mentioning 3 main favorites, G2, SKT, and FPX. And of those 3, G2 have looked the best by far.
And we know in G2 wins, they always look so incredibly dominant. But even in this game, while the top side of the map is falling behind, it is Perks and Caps able to step up. When Perks falls down in the fights, it flip-flops the other way. With the roster so seeped with talent here for G2, it seems like you can look to literally anywhere, and there's going to be a player ready to carry the game.
I'm very curious if we get a 6-0 G2 here, because 6-0 rarely happens in the Worlds group stage. No matter how many favorites you see, no matter how easy their groups often look, 6-0 is a rarity. G2 look the most poised to do it here.
The last time we saw a 6-0 was Longju in the 2017 World Championship in terms of group stage. Only 2 games.